Okay, welcome back, everyone, and we're going to carry on with our business. Up next, we have staff reports from administration. And the first is the continuity of operation plan. And Alana, you're going to take this on. Working?
Power's not on. You can. I gotta like move. And I have a. You like this one.
And perfect, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. Have before you a report on the RFP that we put out for the continuity of operations plan. Unfortunately, we did not receive any application or any bids by the deadline. We did receive one bid a day later, which because we had no bids, we did open. Normally we wouldn't open anything received after. But the amount in that bid was $63,825 plus HST. They did indicate 13,000 of that was for travel. However, that far exceeded our budget. The budget that we had for this project was $30,000. So previous to putting out the RFP, I had talked to our field officer at EMO, Eric Thibodeau, and talked about these plans and what the requirements were. And he was able to send me quite a few samples. So he is willing. I just heard back from him the other day when I advised that our RFP was unsuccessful. He is willing to do a presentation for us, which kind of outlines the components of the plan, what the business impact assessment looks like. So it's like a half-day workshop that EMO will provide for free for the management team. And we could likely do the report in-house ourselves. So that's the gist of the report. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Jim.
Yeah, this points to a big problem. First of all, everybody's so busy and we don't even get a reply on the RFP, but we need to hire somebody to do this and other projects, you know, and not fooling around. I think we better get at it.
Okay. So do you want to yeah, go ahead.
I just had a quick
Yeah.
question. Do we have the capacity now to do it?
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah,
That's my point.
yeah,
We don't have the capacity, I don't think, because people are
overwork.
overworked behind as it is.
Yeah, so on projects like this, and I know we'll talk about projects more later, but this is something similar to our compensation review and quite a few of our other service delivery review. It kind of involves all of the departments. So the benefit of hiring a consultant, they did kind of give a 4-month time frame that they would be able to complete the work. So I think if you're bringing any of these in-house, you're looking for this particular one, you'd be looking at the half-day training, but then you would be looking at each department manager would have to take it back to their departments, and you would need a lead, whether that's myself or someone else, that would go and just make sure that, you know, help with the business impact analysis and then to pull it all together into the plan. So it would involve staff time on all departments. So then I think you're extending the time. So it would be at least a year probably to complete. We would have to integrate with the other work. And that's, you know, either case, depending on the lead, it still comes back to the departments to have to provide the information, the update, what's in their work plans.
So
and cost.
Consultant may not save a ton of time for staff.
Yeah, staff still invest a lot of time when the end plan or reports come to council. It looks very fine, but there's a lot of hours of staff time and managers' time with the employees to bring all that data into the reports.
Okay. Yeah, Colin.
I know it's not apples to apples, but has the county undergone one of these recently that we'd be able to use as a model?
Certainly we can check with the county on theirs. Theirs would be a little bit different. And I do have a template. So Emergency Management Ontario uses a place they call Trillium. Trillium is their make-believe township.
Do you know if there are any other municipalities that have done these plans?
There are.
Yeah, so even like, I mean, would it be possible to even look at some of our?
Yeah, pull out. We always do that with
Yeah.
any type of a plan, similar with an RFP. We pull like townships, similar to when we do bylaws as well. We'll pull 5 or 6, we'll have a look, we'll see what applies, what doesn't apply,
Yeah.
and incorporate it.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? If not, I hear there's a lot of feedback on yours. It's weird. Okay, well, there's a recommendation there. Who wants to?
I'd like to move the recommendation, but add to it, that, staff be directed to complete the plan in-house and to look into the, hiring of someone to help with, operations. Or whatever wording would be adequate there.
Well, that's not gonna be adequate. That's because that's something hiring someone for operations, but, maybe, okay. For the purpose of hiring consultants, so we're not talking about hiring someone, we wanna complete the plan in-house. I think maybe.
Well,
what you're
just leave it at that.
Leave it at that, because I think maybe then, because I think what you're thinking about is a different discussion that we're gonna have.
Oh, okay. I'll make the recommendation then.
Okay, all right, is there a second for that? Seconded by Jim O'Shea, all those in favor? That is approved. Okay, and next up is the service delivery review. And this is Alana again. Oh, where's my, oh, there it is, no. Open up. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The second report is the status update on the North Cortha Service Delivery Review. That report was finalized in February of 2021. And we have been working through the items in the plan. The items in the plan are divided into a couple of categories. You have productivity savings, and then you have a revenue opportunity, and then you have future recommendations. So I went through each, and in the Excel that was attached is an update of what has been done. I tried to include motion numbers and bylaws wherever they were available, and the actual costs. So in the second item, or the first item in the report, you can see it was estimated to be a one-time investment of $7,000, but it was actually $7,931, which then affects your net. So keeping in mind that these are the 2021 dollars, I haven't updated the dollars to current day dollars. I'm just working with the dollars that were estimated at the time. So there's quite a bit of detail in here. I could entertain questions if you have questions or comments on any of the items.
Okay, yeah, it's probably easiest rather than you going through it line by line. Why don't we do that? So, all right, so council members, you have any questions or comments on these things? And these are, we've been discussing this throughout this time as well. So like none of this really is like, comes as a, like, we didn't know that was going on, right? So, I mean, it's all there, right? We did just recently talk about the whole cloud permit thing. That was what I was thinking about specifically, right? You know, the challenges that we've had.
I was just gonna mention that. So some of the items, may have become redundant over the years. So Some of the items were already on plan, so something like purchasing the citywide software was kind of already on our horizon through our budget process. So it may not be the exact way that was recommended back in 2021, but it's either been incorporated in and fulfilled through that, and or it's redundant now because we have something different. So I do intend to keep going through this, finalizing the numbers, and then identifying which items the savings won't be realized on, because we have probably achieved the efficiencies, but just in other ways, not specifically the way that we intended.
Okay. All right, so does anyone have any questions or comments? Otherwise, there is, the motion is to receive, the report, regarding the status update on the progress of our service delivery review.
Are all items from the service delivery review included on this, or only ones that we've been able to begin on?
All items,
Okay.
that's all items listed.
It's nice to see there's at least progress on everything then.
Going through it, I thought it was interesting that a lot of the future recommendations were actually significantly in process.
Good.
I think all in all, it equates to about 50% of the savings that they've recommended to this point.
Good. All right, Colin, do you want to move the recommendation then?
I'll move the recommendation.
Perfect. Is there a seconder for that? Seconded by Jim O'Shea. All those in favor? That has been approved. And where are we to now? We are on reports from boards and committees. So you have the library board minutes as well as short-term rental advisory minutes. Are there any questions or comments on those? Go ahead.
Just a comment on the short-term rental advisory minutes. This is more something that was discussed at our meeting that I want to make sure highlighting, as I said, I would bring it forward. There was recommendations, there's some confusion on who to call, when a fire ban is on, if you do see somebody with a fire or setting off fireworks. And again, it surprised a lot of people that it actually is 911 in our local area. That may feel like an overreach for a lot of people. So there's a suggestion when the new signage goes up, or if we're putting out signage, somehow identifying what to do in that case. Like,
Yeah.
In case of fire, or if you see fire, call 911, something very simple, just to help people, because there's lots of people that knew there was a fire ban, but didn't know how to respond if there
But there
was a
is,
fire.
there is particular wording, and speak to the chief, because I think if you call and say it's a burn complaint. Because calling 911 saying there's a fire, and then it triggers that huge response, but if you, I'm pretty sure Jesse would have the wording, but when you call in to say that it's a burn complaint. That way, that it triggers maybe just Jesse, or just like, one going out, right? And I hear what you're saying.
But going through 911 and using that dispatch service is the correct route. It's
Yeah.
not a call and leave a voicemail on the municipal
Yeah.
line after hours and hope it gets picked up in the morning.
Yeah.
911 is the appropriate
Yes.
dispatch route to take. It's
Exactly.
probably the more appropriate way to say it.
Yes.
And somehow highlighting that with our signage would be good.
Okay.
Since it's open, Paquette did a fantastic job at answering. Everybody appreciated what he did.
Excellent. Okay, all right, if that's all the questions for that, can I have a motion to receive those minutes, please? Moved by Jim O'Shea and seconded by Ruth Ann, all those in favor? Those have been received, and we have correspondence for action or discussion, and it was just the one about the automated speed enforcement, or unless you're living under a rock, you've all heard about this. And we've had quite the discussion at our mayor's meeting with our MPP. As you know, the province is gonna bring forward some legislation. I'm not too sure how that's gonna look, but we did have quite a discussion about, like, do you throw the baby out with the bathwater? Do you kind of just deal with the abuses of maybe this potential program, right? So I am hopeful that there is going to be, specific legislation that will allow, for, municipalities to potentially utilize this type of traffic calming or whatever, or law enforcement, which is what it is. Amel's got a great letter, and I mean, when I spoke with Dave, I said, what's coming, the letters are coming, all the motions and in support of, and all these municipalities are gonna come forward about this. So hopefully there is some consideration for those things. Like I said, it was never on my radar. You know, pun intended, about having, automated speed enforcement, necessarily in our community or on Highway 28, but it was our MPP that had brought it up and suggested it, said we wouldn't be the first. There's another one over on Wasaga Beach that would get it first, but that's kind of out the window if things go this way. I don't know. I just think that, you look at the data there and there's their info that is there. You know, it does work. It does slow people down. So, and certainly in school zones and community safety zones, it's another tool in the toolbox. It's very effective. So anyway, it's here for discussion, you know, and potentially if council wants to support this letter. So I open it up for questions and comments. Ruth Ann, you go
I
first.
would, move to support the letter.
Okay, is there a seconder for that? Jim O'Shea will second it. Is there discussion on this? Colin?
Yeah, no, and I am in support of it too. I have some mixed feelings about speed cameras, but sort of removing that tool from the toolbox entirely doesn't make much sense to me. There are areas, especially in school zones, where it's appropriate, where it's like, you know what, if you're speeding, I don't care, you're gonna get a ticket there. And it is a very effective tool in slowing people down. When I'm driving through other communities that have them, I know where they are before I get there because everybody actually does, in fact, slow down, start maintaining the speed limit.
Yeah.
But we'll also add, they do speed up usually
Right after.
after they get through the camera. So there's challenges to this system,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's worth abandoning entirely. But it also, we need to somehow turn it back and put it back on the province's lap, because if we don't have this ability, it's just gonna require more in-person enforcement, which is something that seems to actually be trending down, if anything. So, we do need to enforce the rules somehow. If we
Yeah.
can't use cameras, then we're gonna need their support with, officers.
Right, and the in-person support is hard to come by and very costly, and there's, you know, and it's a priority. You know, where does the officer attend?
And you learn where the radar's set up.
Yeah,
It's the same as the speed camera.
Yeah.
You know it's there after 2 minutes.
yeah. But anyway, okay, well, there's a motion on the floor duly seconded that we support, motion to support this correspondence from AMO. There's no further discussion. All those in favor? That motion is approved. Okay, and our closed session is actually scheduled for 11:30. Oh, it's,
They are available.
oh, okay, well then. I'm looking for a motion for us to then go into closed session pursuant to section 232. 239(2), pardon me, of the municipal act. This part of the meeting will be closed, dealing with personnel matters, specifically our compensation and pay equity review and succession planning. So can I have a motion for us to go into closed for that, please? Moved by Jim O'Shea and seconded by Ruth Ann. All those in favor? We are going into close. Thanks, everyone.